going to have time to go much beyond the category of a woman, but believe me that if I was to go into discussions of race or gender identity or disability, things get much worse than the things I'm about to say. There's all kinds of lovely intersections of oppression. So there's always a discussion whenever I'm really into like women leadership and that sort of thing. There's always a discussion of women's representation of merit, and like I'm starting to really hate this word because like we have to make a choice, and that is either this isn't just women in science, this is leadership and public life. Either you think that people get into these roles on merit and merit alone, and in doing so, because there are so much more men in these roles, you posit that men are more meritful or meritorious than women. Good luck with that. And you think that's why women are underrepresented, or you have to accept there's something else going on. You have to accept, if you don't think that there are cultures and structures and power relationships at work that mean that women are going underrepresented, and you can't really sit on the fence about that, I'm sorry. So before I go on into some more specifics, I do want to mention a really interesting piece of research I found when I was doing some research into this. It's called Stereotactics. So let's take two very pervasive stereotypes. Women are bad at maths. Asian Americans, as this research is based on, are good at maths. It's been found that when given a maths test with their gender salient, Asian American women performed notably worse than when their ethnicity was salient. When given a verbal skills test with the stereotypes reversed, the results also reversed. So something is going seriously wrong in the way that women are being socialised to be themselves and their abilities. Relating this back to my comment just now about how people attain certain roles and why they attain them, we probably should be exploring the notion that women are going underrepresented in STEM and other fields because that is what is expected of them. In the UK, research has found that male students expect to earn significantly more than their female counterparts after graduation. Which brings to the fore a very worrying notion that the graduate gender pay gap is a self-fulfilling prophecy. This research was actually carried out across all 17 subject areas. In every single one of them, female graduates were being paid less than men. So this cast doubts on the kind of theories that come up that male graduates are more likely to be in the kind of lucrative STEM roles. It's got not much to do that. So what's going on to give women this kind of undervalued role of themselves and perception of themselves? And I actually want the implications of this. I'm going to leave discussions with girls and young women who never choose to go into science alone tonight. I haven't got much time. I want to discuss what happens to those women who, throughout school and college and beyond, know that science is for them. I want to explore why they then self-select out of science at undergraduate level or after. Sometimes it's questioned why women aren't doing things. But why aren't women running to be Prime Minister or President? And the answer comes back to us that, I hate it, it's like we need to be told. Women need to be told that they can run to be chief and president. They just need to be told that they can do science, and it grinds my gears so much because for women to be empowered to go into science or politics or public life or whatever, we have to be shown that these spheres are going to welcome and respect us. And unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. So before I go into science in particular, I should probably highlight that your undergraduate academic experience is rarely separate from your wider experience as a student. And that women undergraduate scientists are probably having the same time as outside of the classroom, outside the rest of their fellow women students. And to be honest, that's not a fantastic one sometimes. So I should say that I'm about to repeat some, well, you might get a bit of a hint here. Some of the things I'm about to repeat relate to rape and sexual assault. Freshers Week. The start of a new adventure for many students, but for women it's quite a rude reminder of their place in the world or how that's viewed at least. The hashtag Freshers Week Sexism, which was part of the Everyday Sexism project, is a pretty harrowing documentation of the first experiences of women students coming to university. At first when I was deciding what to talk about tonight, I actually emailed and I was like, can I talk about this? Because it's really hard to take this up some of it. Some of it's actually quite upsetting. But I do think it's right that we don't hide from the reality of what's going on our campus, essentially. In Leeds just this year, a video publicising an event entitled Freshers Violation included footage of male clubgoers describing how a girl was going to get raped and they would violate freshers. Another student was recorded saying, "Violated is a very strong word. I would say take advantage of someone." A poster advertising a Freshers Week event at Cardiff Metropolitan University in September prominently featured a picture of a t-shirt bearing the words, "I was raping a woman last night and she cried." Relating to our topic tonight, there's anecdotes of colleges in the US hosting hackers and hookers parties. You might think, well, that's not happening in Aberystwyth, these are isolated incidents. 18 months ago, we had a video promoting a pub night here, with the host asking a student what their favourite chat-up line was, and that student replied, "Have you, my dear, tried your hypnol? You have now." A bar in town that many students will visit on their first Sports and Society socials here proudly has a sign hanging behind the bar that says sexual harassment will not be reported but graded. Some people say this is just for a laugh, it's a bit of banter, but knowing that a regional NUS survey showed that whilst 1 in 7 women had experienced a serious physical or sexual assault whilst at university, only 4% of serious sexual assault victims reported their crimes to their educational institution, and in 60% of stalking and sexual assault cases, the perpetrator was a fellow student. In their very first week away from home, these young women are sent the message that they are seen as sexual prey, that their bodies are public property, and the notion of consent is, at best, up for debate, and at worst, nothing more than a joke. And all of that before you've even set foot in a lecture theatre. And then these lecture theatres are filled with the same people who, outside the classroom, degrade and deride the experiences of women. And at the front of the lecture theatre is somebody who probably looks a lot more like those people than you. And anybody who's ever spoken to me about academic promotions for more than 3 seconds will know that I'm really passionate in my belief that for most people, you can't be what you can't see. And if you're a woman studying science here, looking upwards in your department, you're going to see an awful lot of chaps. When the staff room is called the men's room, I find it really bizarre that we're still scratching our heads going, oh, women sticking around in science. I do hope that none of you are thinking this, but the question does arise. Why does it matter? Why does it matter if all of our top researchers and leaders in STEM fields here are all male and sterile, sorry. Having more women professors encourages more women to remain in academia, but it also actually changes the shape of the curriculum for students. We all have a lived experience, and it's really natural to bring that into the work that we do. It's really important that the curriculum being provided here is not just high quality, but well informed and really crucially representative. The problem with the lack of diversity isn't just the unfairness on the people who go underrepresented. The lack of diversity in academic leadership also means that there will be aspects of the field that get missed out. A lack of different perspectives. This leads to the privileging of certain priorities and viewpoints, and then these kind of become as known as the empirical truth, and actually I don't think that's the case. And then we end up being either ignoring or being blind to the real life experiences of the majority of the population, both students and wider public. We know that when more women are elected to Parliament's priorities change because those women bring their experiences in. There are no enough, but Parliament does start to reflect the interests of the wider electorate, not just men. And the same thing goes for research and teaching. Basically, what I'm saying here is that women's underrepresentation isn't just bad for women students, it's bad for high quality teaching and learning. So I've got some conclusions. I decided to do it in the form of several pleas. To the lads in charge. If you really want to empower women, give them your power. That's more than just listening to them and saying that you understand what it is to be a woman, although that's important too. If you're serious about making women equal, start with the spaces you occupy. Gender all of them. It's human nature to like people who remind us of ourselves, but when we've got more professors here called Michael than we've got women professors in the entire university, something has gone really wrong. Powers that be in our university, although I suspect they're not here. Establish an academic promotion system for women. It'll be excellent, I promise. Never, ever, ever use the phrase positive discrimination. Routinely promoting a disproportionate amount of chaps is discrimination, although there's nothing positive about it. Rectifying that is not discrimination, although really positive. To the women holding positions of power and influence in our university, congratulations, you're obviously excellent. And you probably got where you are in spite of being women, to be honest. I understand that you probably also only got there by not upsetting too many of the previously mentioned lads in charge, but I promise you it's never too late to start. Just by being visible, you are making a difference to the aspirations of women undergraduates, but also their perceptions of what they are and what they can be. Reach out a helping hand to those below you. Be a mentor if you can. Be a part of making sure that no more women have to wade through the rubbish that I expect you had to get where you are today. To all of the women in the room, undergraduate or whatever, stop apologising. You have nothing to be sorry for. Your presence in a lab is nothing to be sorry for. If you're in a science field, you are already marked out as different by being a woman. And as you grow in this field, you will become more powerful and more different. And as this happens, you'll become less attractive. You'll become less popular. But a circle of people who respect you will grow, and it will be full of people who deserve your company. If you want to be considered popular and attractive, run the beauty pageant. If you want to be a professor, carry on, but never apologise. To any undergraduate chaps, hi. Challenge the culture you live in. That doesn't just mean staying silent and not joining in with banter or road jokes or whatever. It means actively standing up, speaking out and saying you're not okay with it. Google rape culture. Never, ever, for goodness sake, go to a hackers and hookers party. Thank you.